You always just go attack when like defending. I think like.
Arsenal lost the first leg of the Champions League, but that ain't going to get in the way of a good conversation. We got Laurie in the building. What you saying, my guy?
I'm all right, man. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, you're all good. You're all good.
Yeah, I had a bit of a problem. Just I was waiting.
I wasn't even going to mention it.
Backstage, and then all of a sudden, just as your intro music was playing, my camera and my mic just popped
It's like
off,
the Saliba mistakes that we've seen, man. It's cool, though. It's in a good place.
Man. But
man, I want to get into the PSG thing, but obviously, big boxing fan, probably if as big as football. You saw the fight the weekend. I need to get your thoughts on it, man. I've watched the videos and whatnot that you do, but what do you think of it, bro?
Oh, it's a great fight, man. Great fight. Probably the fight of the year so far this year. Not so much in terms of like skill. I mean, if you're a purist, boxing purist, and you're looking for boxing skill and stuff like that, then it probably wasn't the best. I think Bivol was a better fight in terms of the skill set, but in terms of the drama, the occasion, the intensity,
man, dad turned up,
the ebb and flow, the whole occasion was just magical, man. I mean, it was a sensational fight, and I really enjoyed it, man. Really did, loved it. It's a bit like, if I could use an analogy, it was a bit like, you get some games where they're like 5-5 or 6-5 or 5.
Bare chaos.
Yeah, you know what I mean. It was one of them. It was an amazing fight, and looks like they might do it again. I'm not so sure if I want to see a rematch.
I don't want to see that again, man. It's gonna be dead.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if it will ever live up to the first one. You know what I mean? So
it'll be a boxing match. It won't be like you said, man. All the nonsense, eggs being thrown, dads. Obviously the history is dead. It'll just be a boxing fight. There's nothing away with it, and I think it's the best fight I've seen in a while.
If you think about it, it's not really a natural fit because Conor Benn. I know we're digressing into boxing now. I don't want.
Nah, man. I definitely wear Arsenal PSG. I'm more than happy to speak about this.
So Conor Benn is a natural welterweight. He's a career welterweight. He's fought most of his fights at welterweight, apart from one at light middleweight. And as you know, you would have seen the stuff leading up to the fight. Chris Eubank, he's 35 years old. He's a middle. Well, actually, he's a super middleweight. So he's dropping weight at that late on in life, having had a long, hard career. You saw how much he was struggling to make the weight. It's not good to keep doing that, man. You know what I mean? You're going against the natural forces of your body. And I think we should leave it at that. But you know what it's like, man, when it comes to money and commercial success and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm hearing today, by the way, that the fight did 1 million pay-per-view buys, which for boxing is phenomenal. So
everyone got paid.
Yeah. So,
did you have Eubank to win?
The money trail.
Facts. Did you have Eubank to win?
I did. Yeah, I thought Eubank. I thought it would be. I thought he would win more comfortably than he did. I had it close. I mean, going into the 11th and after 10 rounds, I had it equal. I had it level. I think Eubank pulled it out in the last 2 rounds. Phenomenal performance. But enough respect to Conor Benn, man. He put it on the line. He hurt Eubank a few times.
Couple shots, I was like, oh, because Eubank's my guy. But I was thinking, oh, it could go left here.
Could easily have gone left. So, and credit to Eubank, man, because he had to drag himself up. You know, I mean, he was in trouble at various points of that fight. So,
and then he was doing
enough respect to both of them, man. Enough respect to both.
Big up them, man. I know you're pressed for time, so let's get into obviously the 2 shirts that we're wearing. This is the club we love, and it's difficult. But Arsenal PSG, man, it's the only way to save our season. What do you make of the game, man? Was we as bad as people making out?
Sorry?
Was we as bad as people making out? Some people reckon we was all right.
Nah, man, we weren't good, man. Nah, we weren't good.
Right,
the best thing I can draw from last night, and I'm going to be honest, is that it was only 1-0. Because to me, PSG, especially in that first half, man, that first 30, 35 minutes, they were bopping Arsenal all over the place. Let's just keep it right. You know what I mean? They were the better team, easily the better team. In fact, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I mean, they started fast. They came out the traps. Their pressing was good. And the way they were on the ball, man, they were bopping the ball around with confidence, with speed. They looked really good. And when they scored after 4 minutes, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was a bit shell-shocked. I was thinking, right, this could go left, man. This looks like it could be a long night. And like I said, for that first 30 minutes, even Timber was getting a
Oof.
warm time down the wing. In the midfield, they were running things. They were looking sharp. They were looking confident. But to be fair to Arsenal, after about the latter stages of the first half, you could see them, you know what I mean, kind of...
We're like, all right, we need to do better now. We're settling now.
Yeah.
Let's try play ball. You
Almost
didn't want the
like,
first half to end.
Yeah, like, so they got themselves back into it, a little bit of hustle and bustle and work rate. We got ourselves back into it. So we go into the game, go into the first half 1-0 down. They come out for the second half. You're thinking, okay, can we step up the levels? Can we, you know what I mean, find our way back into this game? Can we score a goal? Didn't quite happen. And yeah, it kind of petered out, man. And towards the end there, I mean, we did create a couple of chances, notably the Trossard one. We had the goal disallowed as well, which was offside, to be fair. So we had a couple of chances, but we never really looked like we were going to get to grips with them. And then towards the end there, man, PSG, they could have put it away.
Paula and Ramos off the bench. It should be 3-4-0. We're very fortunate. We have to count our blessings.
So, you know, they hit the post, they hit the bar, they went close a couple of times. Kvaratskhelia, I hope I haven't butchered that name, by the way. He had a really good chance. So really and truly, if we're being honest as Arsenal fans, we've probably got a squeeze there with that 1-0. So at least it gives us a fighting chance of getting something in the return leg. But yeah, I guess that's my brief summary of it, man.
Before I get into the hustle and bustle, yeah, then obviously we've lost that game. I agree with the fundamental point you're saying is that if there was one positive, bro, it should be 3-4. We should be out of sight, out of mind. Hopefully they regret those chances. We did go through the motions. But then how does that leave the state of play for you going to Paris next week then? Like, because that's a nasty ground. Do we go gun-ho? Are they going to go gun-ho? Because it seems like Luis Enrique is a bit like Arteta. Like, I'm just going to play my way regardless. Like, what's the state of play in the second leg for you then?
It's going to be difficult, man. I mean, you have to make PSG favourites. There's no doubt about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not impossible. PSG, I mean, they lost at their home ground last weekend to Nice, 3-1 as well. In a game that wasn't a throwaway game for them. They were looking to go invincible. Because up until that point they'd not been beaten, and yeah, they had their eyes on invincibility in the French league, and they lost 3-1. And they put out a strong team for that game, so it wasn't like they were, you know what I mean, carefree. They wanted to win that game. They lost it, so it shows they can be beaten. I mean, you saw in the second leg of the Villa game, Villa put it on them, scored 3 goals, could easily have gone through. So listen, man, they're not unbeatable, but they are a very good team. I mean, I'd said prior to the game on Tuesday, I'd said on AFTV shows I've done on my own channel, LL Sports TV, I'd said that...
Give that a sub, people.
Yeah, thank you. I'd said that, to me, PSG represent a more difficult challenge than Real Madrid. I think with Real Madrid, they've got greater players. It's that Galactico effect. They've got the Bellinghams, the Mbappes, the Vinicius, but they're not a team. This... PSG, especially since Luis Enrique's taken over and established his own ethos with the side, they're completely different to when we played them last year.
Different. Dembele was dropped for it, and he scored the winner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because apparently the manager had to put it on him. Dembele was acting out of character, acting out of discipline, turning up late. The managers benched him. They fell out, but you know, they made up. He's come back in and he's flying, man. I mean, that goal yesterday he scored as well. That was a really well taken goal. Hit it first time, which is something that I'd love to see Arsenal players do. But yeah,
I called it a competent goal.
Sorry?
I called it a competent goal because it's great from PSG and just street. It's terrible from us, but it's just street smartness. Like, he started the whole move in his own half and he just followed through. And the thing that annoyed me, bro, is like, I think I was going into this game like I think PSG are better than us with the ball. I think we're going to go through spells and we're going to be without it. But I feel generally at Arsenal, whether I believe we're a good club or not, I think we're comfortable with that. Deep blocks, low blocks, you have the ball, do whatever. We could be levels. But there was too much, kind of like the initial 20 minutes, as you said, like there was too much space. We're not following runners. There's gaps. I just think we played into their hands. I want to ask you about the psychologically how we went into that game. Like, obviously you don't speak to the players and whatnot, but did you feel they weren't really up for it? Like, did you think they were scared? Like, do you feel we was at it? Because against Real Madrid, we was on it yesterday. It was like, ugh.
You know what? That's a very good question. And honestly, it's difficult for me to really give an answer. I mean, I've heard people say that they weren't up for it. I think they were up for it. I've heard people say, I mean, I saw a couple of the fan cams on AFTV. Some people were suggesting that Arsenal went into the game with a degree of overconfidence. I'm not even sure if it's that. I just think PSG came out and they made the better start. And once they get the early goal, you know what it's like in football, man. When you get an early goal, you start well, you get the goal, your confidence just goes through the roof. And
what they did to us is what we've done to teams.
You know what I mean? And it took us a while to get back in it. And once we got back in it to a degree, we could never quite bridge that gap. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think we were up for it. I don't think we were overconfident. What I put it down to is that PSG, a very good team. They made an excellent start and they scored the goal after 4 minutes. And once they got that goal, that was like, wow. You know what I mean? You saw the way their fans were in the stadium as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
very nice.
Night. And like I said, the only criticism I have of PSG last night was that they were a bit profligate at the other end in terms of finishing. Because had they had their shooting boots on,
we're done.
The conversation you're having now could be very, very different. You know what I mean? So I guess we have to count our blessings, man, because they.
And that's all you can do is count your blessings. That sure as hell could have been better. We could have been better, but it could have and should have. And on another day, could have been a lot worse. And that's the thing, man. It's like, I know Donnarumma, for example, he made 5 saves and he's getting, I think the media are overdoing his performance with the greatest of respect to him. I think they're disrespecting him because it weren't a that thing like that. There was a couple tame efforts. As you said, we put the ball in the back of the net. But I feel like when you look beyond the fact that it's the semi-finals and Champions League and all that stuff, I feel in many ways what we saw is on brand with what I've seen many a time in the Premier League with us, in that not to dig out any players, but Martinelli and Trossard, I'm used to you lot missing clear-cut opportunities. I'm used to little cheap goals conceded. I'm used to, we'll go through periods in the 90 minutes where we might look the better team or whatever, but ultimately it's not enough. And then what I'm saying that is to say this, to ask you something that I always see. I actually think Arteta's a good coach. I think he can plan. I think he can do all of that. But if there's a spanner in the works, it's like going back to boxing. It's like he can prepare for a fighter for a fight. But if something unorthodox happens, he's in trouble. What do you feel about his game management? Because, come on, man, Nwaneri in the 80 odd minute. I mean, he could have been involved in the goal, but what are you expecting? Luis Enrique's wheeling off the subs. Like, surely he needs to arrest that now because it's semi-final now, man.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to be honest, man. I was at the Box Park yesterday. We did a watch-along for AFTV at the Box Park, and it was Ram in there. And you mentioned the manager. A lot of people, man, were looking at each other thinking, yo, what's going on, bro? Like, come on. I mean, I've got to say, listen, let's be fair, yeah? So when we boxed Real Madrid in the 2 legs, I and many, many others, I'm sure you was as well, we was on that Arteta train. We gave him mad props. You know what I mean?
Rightly so.
He said, yeah, rightly so. He out-coached Ancelotti. He got it absolutely right in both legs. We gave him his props. However, last night, man, he dropped the ball. We just got to be honest about that. I mean, not so much in terms of the team. I've seen people criticizing him for the team selection. To me, I think the team that he put out was on balance the one, you know what I mean, we had reasonable right to expect. I mean, Partey stupidly got himself booked against Madrid, missed out. So that means that there was always going to be an issue in midfield. He went with Rice in the 6, Mourinho in the 8, Odegaard up top. Some people are saying he should have put Miles Skelly in there. That's very easy to say that after the event. So I had no problem with the team. Where I do have an issue, though, is that, let's be honest, man, it was obvious from early that things weren't working out. So
obvious.
Basically,
that's why I said in-game management when I asked you that.
Yeah, so your plan A is clearly not working. And you have made that drift all the way to the 85th. His first substitution in that game last night was the 85th minute, and it was a defensive substitution. Now, I don't know if
why? Timber was knackered.
Or whether he was just knackered or not playing well enough. I mean, he got a warm time in the first half, but I thought he did a lot better in the second half. But that being said, Arteta's first substitution in a game that we're losing at home in the first leg of the Champions League is in the 85th minute. To me, that's not good enough. And it was a defensive one. You've got Ethan Nwaneri on the bench. Listen, man, I've been waxing lyrical about this guy from the minute I saw him play for Arsenal. To me, he's the most exciting talent in the Premier League. I stand by those words. Guy's amazing. He's young. He's hungry. He wants, you know what I mean? He wants
got a mean shot on him as well.
Yeah. Bring him on. I can't understand. Well, he brings him on in the 89th minute, which means that he had 6 minutes to try and turn that game. Come
You're
on,
asking for a miracle, man.
yeah, you know what I mean, and it weren't going to happen. So, and I've noticed that in recent games. I'm sure you've seen it as well. He's hardly been playing the man. I don't know what's gone on. You know what I mean?
Palace should have started.
I thought that was. I'm not going to lie, man. I was very disappointed with Arteta last night. You know what I mean? I was, because that's what you get paid all the money for, bro. Like,
Exactly.
the words you use, in-game management, when things are not going well, you're supposed to have a plan B. You're supposed to have that mindset where you react to things. You know what I mean?
Be proactive in that. Yeah,
be
man.
proactive. You know what I'm saying? So when things are not working, you're supposed to say to yourself, because we could all see it. I'm sure you saw it. I saw it. Everyone at the box bar, and the room was ram out. Probably over 100 people in one room saying, "Yo."
And that's bare Arsenal fans. Probably a couple Arsenal haters that want to see our tears, but the vast majority is Arsenal fans there, so everyone can see it because we know our team.
Yeah, and we're waiting for something to happen, because that is where the manager earns his corn. You know what I mean? You make those changes, you bring off man, you bring on somebody else, you change the formation maybe.
You look like a genius as well if you bring on Nwaneri 70th minute and he bags.
You could have changed the formation, because Mourinho wasn't having one of his better games. You could have stuck him up top, took Trossard off or whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's so many permutations
something
he could have done, and he did none of that. And it was, so yeah, I've got to admit, man, yes, the players have got to bear their responsibility. But I thought the manager last night, I think he got it wrong, man. And like I said, I was full of praise for him with the Madrid game. So it's not like I'm hating on the manager or I want him out. It's not
calling it as you see it.
Exactly. So people shouldn't be afraid to say that. I've seen some Arsenal fans today online, oh, stop having a go at the manager, this, that, and that. Listen, man, at the end of the day, like I said, the vast majority of Arsenal fans were full of praise for this guy. Couple of weeks
even the ones that want him gone regardless were praising him after Madrid.
Because you can't his flowers, but come on, man. Last night he dropped the ball. He did. It's as simple as that.
And that's why I asked you about game management, because again, it's like he can plan, but he doesn't change. And I'm not saying anything's the answer. I know people can say, obviously, there's injuries. We've kind of got what we've got. I hear all of that. But within the context, you've still got players. I like to think I'm a fair man. If he tried something and we still got the same result, I'd say fair enough, because you actually tried to fix something. I'm a firm believer of if nothing changes, nothing changes. So literally, if you keep trying to do the same thing, nothing happens. As you rightly said, Jay, I said, all right, cool. I know there's some man would have said, keep Marino up there, do this in midfield, but all right, the thing that he started, all right, we're at where we're at. It is what it is. And to be fair, all of them did well in the previous game. It's when, like you said, when you're getting to the last stage and maybe you bring on Tierney at left back, put Lewis Skelly in midfield, maybe even Zinchenko in the 10, just something. Nwaneri, as you said, just something, bro.
I mean, I've got to be honest, our bench isn't the strongest.
It's horrible.
And I've also got to say that, you know, I mean, you've got guys on the bench there. I mean, I've got to call him out. I know that's my guy, but Raheem, he's not really been doing anything.
Yeah, horrible.
But then it was the manager that brought him in. So,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
This is your team. You got to hold that.
You know what I mean? But the lack of tactical dexterity is what I call it. The ability to think on the fly and say, right, you know what? It's not happening for Deluded. I'm going to take him off. I'm going to put this man. I'm going to, you know what I mean? Come with a different.
I'm going to rejig. I'm going to do something.
Yes. We didn't see any of that. And then, like I said, bringing on the youth with 6 minutes ago was almost an insult for me. Like, what do you expect the guy to do in that time? So
it's little man minutes, man.
Oh, come on, bro. It barely made any. And even in the time he was on, he probably did better than a few of the men that had been playing us.
And, so, and that's the saddest thing.
That was disappointing, man. But,
why don't you think he changes though as well, bro? Go on, say.
Why was it? Sorry.
I was gonna just say, like, why? Because I asked you, like, the in-game, what you think of it, and obviously you've never spoken to Arteta, but like, why doesn't he change? Like, why does he keep doing that? Like, why is that an Achilles heel of his? Because I'm starting to think maybe Luis Enrique knew you weren't going to change nothing. So if we get it right, we start well, it's going to stay like this. If Arteta is ever going to change things, it's going to be before the games. Because I think sometimes throughout his time here, he'll keep things the same, have a eureka moment, and then just keep that for the next whatever until whatever. But like, why don't you?
Managers can be stubborn by nature. You know, it's not often you get managers that will. You know what I mean? Wenger was like this as well. Wenger would do all his substitutions were in the 75th minute. He was very predictable.
There was a running joke about that.
Yeah, same formation every game, no matter who you play. Now, listen, you do have to have a style of play. You have a system. right? Because obviously, you know what I mean, football needs structure. So I understand the plan A. I get it, and it works well. And I'll also give him credit for things like, so where he put Mourinho up top when none of us saw that coming, and let's be honest, it's worked by and large. It's worked very well. I'm willing to give him credit for that. But like you said, Deluded, the in-game management, I've said it for a number of times now. I've been saying it ever since he took over. It's too rigid, man. You know what I mean? He needs to think on the fly a bit more, need to be a bit more creative, a bit more innovative with what he does. You know what I mean? He's very much
tunnel vision. That's what we're doing.
Tactics, and that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? And he doesn't tend to, if you're on the periphery of this team, so if you like Zinchenko, Sterling, and then Manda, you know what I mean?
Go on holiday, man.
And you know what I mean, get the hand warmers, because you're going to be spending a lot of time in the cold on the bench. You know what I mean?
So, facts. Go on.
He doesn't utilize his bench. He doesn't maximize that at all, man. And that's been a criticism of mine I've had from him from time. And last night we saw that. And it's disappointing.
And that's why it's annoying.
It is. You know what I mean? And listen, man, let's hope that he'll learn from these experiences. You know what I mean? He is a good manager. Listen, he is a very good manager. I know that there is some of the fans at Arsenal who are not too keen on him. They want an upgrade, they say. I'm not sure about that. I don't think the club are. There's no way they're gonna.
They just gave his staff new deal and him new deal, and Berta's coming. It's redundant.
A lot of the man them, like my boy Yardman, them man, they're saying,
Yardman, man. He's all losing his voice over Arteta.
You're wasting your energy, bro, because that's not happening. You know what I mean? But what I would say though is that he does need to step his game up. We saw last night. We saw his fallibilities. He just let the game drift. You can't do that, man. Not the top managers don't do that. You know what I mean? So.
That's what annoys me, Laurie, because one, like, I feel whether it's the in-game tactics, whether it's, you know, a couple of players, whether it's in purple patches or the Sackers, who wasn't amazing yesterday, like the couple of players turning up, the in-game tactics, the injuries, a lot of what I saw yesterday and what I've seen this season, I didn't discover this year, apart from Lewis Kelly in a positive way. We knew the fragilities of us. And Arteta is a bit annoying in the sense of, I'm saying you don't think on the fly and all of those kind of stuff, because you do it off the field. We all have seen all the numerous stories about all the team stuff you do, the light bulbs, all of that. Why are you not doing that in the game? I wish I could have a conversation with him. And for me, I don't think Arteta is a man without faults. I don't think he's the best manager in the world. He hasn't earned that right. But I do think he's a good coach. I do think he's got a lot of fragilities, but I do think he's done a lot well. For me, I'm at the point where, in short, as I guess I'm saying with Arteta, are you going to get over the line? Like, every year you don't get over the line, the question is going to get bigger and bigger. And my brethren said today in the group chat, he was like, I hear the way you feel in that. And I agree that Mikel Arteta is a good coach, but is he a winning coach? And that's where I'm at now, because I do think, you know, despite all the injuries and that, we've got to 2 semi-finals, shot ourselves in the foot against Man United. Obviously, the Premier League's the Premier League and we know why, but there still could have been silverware, regardless of where we find ourselves. I want to ask you about the captain, man. Like, I know it's not all him, and we're not saying scapegoat him.
I knew this was coming.
I can't, man. I can't, because, you know, I'm a big fan of Odegaard. I can't bear excuses for the guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing goals or assists. I'm not seeing influence. And I know it's not the same position, yeah, but somebody said it on a stream. It's like, obviously, Partey's not there. Rice has changed. We need a bit more from you, Martin. Like, Lewis Kelly's inverting and doing a bit more than you. Like, what's going on with Odegaard, man? Like, or what do you think is going on with him?
Wish I knew, man. I did a show on AFTV last week entitled What's Happened to Martin Odegaard. And it's interesting. So we put the title up. People came in the comments straight away. Oh, you're having a go. I said, listen, bro, you go back and look at some of my previous content. I'm an admirer of Odegaard. I like the guy. You know what I mean? I think he's a very talented player. But as Arsenal, this is not a cult. You know what I mean?
That's what it feels like.
It's not a cult, right? You are allowed to hold the players to account. You are allowed to ask questions. I'm asking what's happening to the guy, because his form has fallen off a cliff this season.
And got worse now.
Exactly. And like, I think it's something like 5 goals and 9 assists in 40 appearances this season. That is
Edison's got Premier League assists with him.
He was a player of the season a couple of seasons ago. The man was scoring like 15, 16 goals.
He's 26.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, I mean, I know he had the injury, you know, back in September, I think it was, when he was playing for Norway. It's the ankle injury. It's quite a bad one. But come on, bro. Like, we have a right to expect a bit more.
A bit more. A lot more.
Yeah, a lot more. A lot more. I mean, last night I saw some stats that were quite damning of his performance. I think he had 8 duels in that PSG game. He won 2 of them. He only made 1 tackle in the game. 1. And you think midfield, you know what I mean? That is that is.
We
bad.
know you're not that player, Odegaard, but come on, bro. Like,
no goals,
come on,
no assists, 1 tackle. Oh, damn.
Hi, Odegaard's got at him, man. Odegaard's locked off the stream. The minute we said it's not a cult, man. He's still here, people. Don't worry, man. The show continues, but I think Laurie's bang on the money, man, with the Odegaard comments. And I think the key thing Laurie said there is that it's not a cult. Like, it's not a cult. You are allowed to, on one hand, big up a player, talk about his qualities, wax lyrical when he does well. And I'm not saying hyper opinions and you know, you say he's the best thing since Pele, and then the next week he's the worst player in the world, but hold players accountable. Nobody is going to hold Odegaard accountable if they didn't think he had it in his locker. We thought he was shit. Hey, if we thought Odegaard was shit, then we wouldn't say anything. But at the end of the day, we're calling for a 17-year-old, 18-year-old in Nwaneri. Lewis Skelly is looking like more of a captain than you. And we're in the semi-finals. We're in the first time since 2009. Like, Neymar actually made his debut as a 17-year-old, I feel, in 2009. He's on the verge of retiring now. So that tells you everything with Odegaard. I do think Laurie's right in a sense of, I think personally, in fact, better yet, he's still carrying an injury. He's not looking fully fit. I think he's feeling sorry for himself. But that being said, at the end of the day, you're still past fit because you're playing. So you have to be criticized, and you're the captain. I'm just asking for some influence. As Laurie said earlier, Nwaneri, fair enough, we should have got more than 5 minutes. But him coming on, he almost set up Martinelli. We're seeing him a lot more, and you're the captain. And it's getting to the point, I'll be honest, bro. Like, you might have to come out the firing line. I know it's not going to happen against PSG, but you're not doing anything. I'm sure Arteta would differ then with that, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Like, Partey's one thing being missed, and that's actually Laurie as well. Like, does that game highlight, as much as we talk about striker and obviously left wing with Martinelli, and maybe you could say defenders and whatnot, but does it highlight how we need to rejig midfield? Because you can't really pull Odegaard out, or Arteta doesn't seem willing to do that. We know Partey's good and he's linked with a new contract, but he's 31, 32. Rice moved back to the 6 and looked a bit, and he's been playing 8. Like, do we need to get how many midfielders do we need? Like, and if we need any, and like, do we need to get this midfield like rejigged of sorts? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you make an excellent point there. I mean, sorry for the technical.
Nah, it's minor, man. It adds a bit of realism to our content, man. It can't be too perfect, man.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, as I was saying, Martin Odegaard. We know he's a tremendously talented footballer, but for whatever reason, it's not happening. Last night, we needed him to show up. He had a poor game. Like I said, no goals, no assists. 2 out of 8 duels won. Gave the ball away or lost possession 14 times. It's just not good enough. But in answer to your question, I don't think Arteta will drop him. I think he'll stand by him, which I can see why he might want to do that. I know some of the fans are saying enough is enough. They should stand him down for the next leg. But it's not as simple as that, because who do you replace him with?
That's the thing.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, man. Certainly between now and next week, I don't know what they're going to do. But I would say this, it's very unlikely that the manager will drop him or relieve him of the captaincy. I mean, I saw Turkish was saying after the game that they think they should take the captaincy off him because it's affecting his game. If you do that to him and you still play him, it looks like what it is, a demotion. And that, with a man that's not confident, that's going to play.
Let's be honest, a bit of a softer, gentler soul,
Yeah,
Martin
you know what I mean?
Odegaard is.
So,
like, it's not a Xhaka thing or a Rice thing.
I guess they just have to show faith in him, man. You know what I mean? They have to sit him down, talk to him, find out what's the problem. I mean, I've seen some reports today, some stats that suggest that the loss of form could be down to the fact that, you know, he's not playing with Havertz and them, man, there. I don't know, man. But
Odegaard's in the gutter if that's a thing. Big up Havertz, but Odegaard's in the bin if that's it.
And when Saka wasn't playing, that affected him as well. But I think that's a stretch, man. That's an overreach. He's just not been playing well.
We've gone past that point. You're just not playing well now, bro.
He's lost a lot of confidence, hasn't he?
And that's the saddest thing. He just lost confidence at the wrong time. Even the Real Madrid game, I don't think you was terrible, but you weren't amazing. And I even said it like in the 2 games against Real Madrid, more the burnabout. As much as I'm happy to see Kivio stand up tall, Lewis Skelly, Saka come back from injury, all those others. The one guy that you wanted to have one of those kind of Marino as well, but the one player you wanted to have one of those standout moments or everybody waffling or you feel they knew they played well was Martin Odegaard. Like, I think we need more. We need more, man. We need more from him. I think we need more, like, not criticizing his personality, but like more balanced personalities. Like, you can tell Saka's not effing and blinding, but when he does something that's an L or misses a penalty, he has a little smile. He goes again. The Rices, the Magaleses, the Ben Whites, the Salibas. I'd even say Kivio's kind of becoming in that, and Marino as well. We need more balanced guys that when things are going well, they're not excited. When things are going terrible, they just keep going. But honestly, I don't know how we get out of it. And I just feel with Arsenal, we just shoot ourselves in the foot, man. Like, despite all the injuries and
I
the
would say, though,
Go on.
Deluded, and I do agree with pretty much everything you said there. I do think, though, it's important not to scapegoat Odegaard for yesterday.
That's what I'm not on, because he's even if he was crap, what about the other 10?
Because it wasn't just him yesterday.
And he's been crap for the last few games, and we've been winning games. So what's going on with all the others? Like, we don't win together, we don't lose together. But you know how the media works. You know how it works on socials. You know how fans work. Odegaard's, a lot of it is going to be isolated to that game where, yeah, you know what, you was poor, but it's boiling over. You've been poor for a minute. You're pissing off people even more. I don't think anyone can accuse any of these players of not wanting to play well or try well.
It's definitely not that. You could see that the guy's trying. Sometimes he's trying a bit too hard. And I evidenced that through, you will often see him dropping deep to pick up the ball. Now, that speaks to me of somebody that's desperately trying to get involved in the game. He's doing too much. We saw that. Where was the game where we conceded that? Saliba? Was it Palace? Yeah, it was
Palace, yeah.
My man's dropping into a sweeper role to pick up the ball from Saliba. I'm like, yo, you should be further up the pitch. You're a number 10. You're a playmaker. You're the guy that's going to make things happen at the other end of the pitch. What are you doing at that end of the pitch, playing passes with Saliba? Arteta just dumped you on your backside at that and went and scored. I mean, to me, that was a comedy of errors, that goal.
Errors, bro. Saliba doing too much. Raya's caught in transition off his line. Exactly. Odegaard, you're not a strong man at all. You could have made more of a meal of it. But
what is he doing that deep? We want you further up the pitch. We want you to be making things happen in the final third, scoring, assisting, creating chances, causing havoc in the opponent's half of the pitch, not picking up the ball from deep and running with it. You know what I mean? And he leads the press. So what are you doing down there? You know what I mean? So, and again, like I said, I think a lot of this is down to loss of confidence. He's so desperate to get involved in the game. He means well. You can see that. You know, he's trying, but it's just not happening. Sometimes in life, these things happen. You're almost trying too hard, or you're overthinking things. You're not playing your natural game. You're playing things safe when really, you know what I mean, the pass was on. You're second.
You're doubting yourself then indirectly.
Huh?
He's doubting himself indirectly, because the one thing we love about Odegaard, he's got that guile to split a defense, but he might see it and he's like, oh, I'm not, like, I ain't got it in me. Let me play the 5-yard pass backwards. And that's indirectly where the frustration with some of the fans come from. So I think you're bang on the money. He's just devoid of confidence, short of confidence. I don't know how we fix it. I just think he has to soldier it, and it kind of is what it is. We hope he goes again next season. If we're sat here doing a stream this time next year with Odegaard, I'm not saying he's going to be sold, but I do think Berta's coming in, looking at wages, looking at who's doing the business. And I think him and Martinelli, they might be in trouble purely because he's the captain. He's 26. He's on 200 odd grand a week. Martinelli's on like 190. You look at Ramsdale, you look at Tierney, you look at Jesus. The squad's been evolving in it, and you head into the summer. Assuming we go into next season, 2025-26, that'll be the 4th year we've been realistically trying to get to these stages and be in these competitions. It doesn't surprise me that there's a lot to do in terms of incomings and outgoings. Like, when you go through the majority of our squad, I'm not saying everyone's going to be sold, but there's very few players I think every Arsenal fan would unanimously agree, yo, you have to stay. Some would say, I might let you go if there's an offer, you might this or might that. So we got a lot to do, man. And it's sad.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, listen, last night kind of showed up some of the problems we've been having. I thought Martinelli and Trossard were off it as well yesterday.
Off it.
You know, even Saka, I mean, he was trying things. They double teamed him. He was having, you know what I mean, issues. He got booked, kicked the ball away in frustration. You could see he was having a difficult night. So as I said before, it's not just Odegaard. Odegaard stands out though because he's not played for a while. He's not played well for a while. He's the captain of the team. And he's, like I said, when you're playing a number 10 role, that is a pivotal position in any football team because you are, you know what I mean, very much the man to try and make things happen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was disappointing. But like I said, I guess the main positive I can take from last night is the fact that it's only 1-0 because 1-0 isn't really that much. If you get an early goal, or as long as you score first against PSG, then you're putting them under pressure. You know what I mean?
That's
you don't
the
have
thing.
to score like I've heard people say, oh, the early goal.
That's too emotional.
Up to a point. But if we score the first goal, then the match becomes very different. You know what I'm saying?
Even if you can see that 1 on the night and it's 2 on aggregate, you need to stay like it's when you get to these stages. Obviously, it's about tactics and fine margins, and we spoke about Enrique and Arteta. But I also think it's about psychological factors, and I think we were very different. Like you look at the Real Madrid game, I feel Real Madrid got bulldozed by us, but I think we're in a better moment. We had the togetherness. They've been going through whatever they're going through in the season, bit like in a positive way. PSG, they're like two very separate teams from the one in October to yesterday. My last question for you, then, yeah, before I let you get out of it, Unks. Now, when you got Bournemouth on the weekend, yeah, obviously many people would want to rotate and all of those things, and that's normally my kind of trail of thought. And I'm not saying it's necessarily that, but then my brethren also said on WhatsApp, like, at this moment in time, is it a momentum thing? Like you just play everybody? Because if that was a must win and we're in a title race against Bournemouth in the game on a Wednesday, we'd probably name our strong team. Do you think we just have to go strong, try build up momentum and those kind of things? And we're still in the top 4 race, kind of.
I think you're right. I think the latter is the truth. I think the fact that we were so off it yesterday, I think that the likes of Odegaard, Martinelli and Trossard, they need minutes to get the confidence back. They need a good game at the weekend against Bournemouth. Bournemouth is not a throwaway game.
That ain't a Mickey Mouse game at all.
Yeah, so maybe with Timber, who's carrying a knock, they say, from last night, yeah, rest him because obviously we need him to be at his optimum level for next week, which is going to be very difficult. It's going to be very physical. We know PSG, they're very fit, they're very athletic. You know what I mean? So we need our players to be at their optimum fitness levels. However, in terms of the footballing, there was a few players last night, man, that were off it. So we need to see them this weekend against Bournemouth, get some minutes and really, you know what I mean, turn it on. Because I often say to people, man, you know this, bro, like you can't turn things on and off like a tap.
Exactly. It's not how life or football works.
You know what I mean? You're either with it or you're not. And, you know, they need the minutes. I'm not saying that you have to play them the whole 90, especially if we're beating Bournemouth. Hopefully we're beating Bournemouth by a couple of goals. Then you can say, right, okay, let's have a look at some of the other guys, blah, blah, blah. But I would like to see him go strong against Bournemouth. I would like to see Nwaneri get some minutes, though, because I think he could be crucial. I mean, with his pace, with his desire.
Point to prove as well, yeah, desire.
He can come on and do bits against PSG in the next leg. I'd also like to see Tierney and Zinchenko get some minutes because I think they could become necessary as well. Even Sterling. I mean, I know he's not produced anything at the moment, but listen, man, he's on the bench. The manager brought him in. You know what I mean? At the end of the day,
I've tried with Sterling, but the Palace game, I don't know, Sterling, man. Like,
the Palace game was that was
2 packs of Sterling, bro. Like, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know because on one hand, I do
confidence is just
on the floor, like on the floor, on the floor. You've probably got more minutes than you would have faced at Chelsea because they said from the jump, yo, you're not involved regardless. Go train with the kids. But at the same time, Arteta should be utilizing him throughout the season and knows him. But at the same time, Arteta, I could say he's the one seeing you in training. And if he believes that, you know, despite Trossard and Martinelli really struggling for the majority of the season, or even when Saka wasn't there, that whatever options are better, then that's pretty telling, isn't it? Like, and I always believe the first, well, let's say from August to September, coming out the end of September, I think the managers can kind of play them lies to the players. Like, you're going to get time, you're going to get time, you're going to do this. Once you start getting to around January, you see who's rated. Of course, there's injuries and that, but the minutes, the starts, it all speaks for itself. And that's just the nature of the business, man. I just, every time we comment, yeah, whether you speak or me, I just find myself thinking, we need to do the most in the summer. We should have done the most last summer. Listen, to end this then, Laurie, man, I'll say, do you know what? let's just hope we turn the game around in France. What prediction? I'm gonna say 2-1, man. 100% copium. No optimism.
I'm
Just
going to say
copium.
2-1, and the reason why I'm going to say 2-1 is because that's what I want to manifest. So I'm trying to stay positive. So if I keep, you know what I mean, dwelling on the negative and, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
Nothing's going to change.
Then, yeah, exactly. So I have to manifest something positive. So I'm going for 2-1. I do think we've got it within us to beat them. I mean, like I said, they're a very good team, but they're not unbeatable by any stretch of the imagination. And if we get that first goal, then the whole mood changes. In fact, you could argue that if we get the first goal,
They might get shook.
yeah, it could shake them up. We'll really see what they're made of, because they were faltering a little bit against Villa. We've seen that before, right? When Villa got them goals and were right back in it, you could see they were shook. So let's go there positive. Let's hope that the likes of Odegaard, Martinelli, Saka and those guys, everyone turns up. And yeah, we get that first goal and it's on.
Hope it's on, man. Like, again, we get that first goal. We never know, man. Miracles are there to happen. I mean, it was nice to beat Real Madrid. Now we've got to pull off the, not impossible, potentially improbable, but everything's impossible until it's done. Let people know where they can find you. Obviously, they know you're on AFTV, but I don't think everyone's aware that you have your own platform. The guy's bringing out boxing content, footy content, everything.
Give my channel a plug. LL Sports TV. We do football, we do boxing, and yeah, it's a new channel, but we're growing. And yeah, things are going quite well. I'm quite pleased with the way things are going so far, but I need more support. So yeah, listen, anyone watching this, please get over to the channel. Let me know what you think. Put your comments in the comment section, and we go from there. And thanks, Deluded, man. I appreciate it.
No, man, it's always lovely to speak to you, man. We've been trying to make it happen for a minute, man, but it happened, didn't it?
But let's do it again next week, because, you know, let's hope that
100.
And then when me and you meet up next week, we're on a more positive note.
I hope you're right, man. I see what you did there. People, make sure you're following LL Sports. Again, it's in the title of this video. It'll be in the description. Don't be lazy. It takes a second to subscribe, turn on notification bells. Laurie, let you enjoy your evening. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. I'm sure you either think we're both chatting shit or you think we're talking facts. Either way, let us know. Leave a comment, and we're out, man. Peace.
Thanks for having me, man. Really appreciate it. Take care.
Come on, my guy.
Always just active and defending.
I've been given like